All right, what's going on everyone? John here, and we're back with another video. I recently just picked up this 2015 6.7 Powerstroke, and it has over 200,000 miles. I've driven it for like 30 days already, and I've put around 2,000 miles on it, give or take. And my experience has been great, and I'm gonna tell you guys about it. So pretty much I picked up this truck a month ago, and like I said, I put over 2,000 miles on it, and I've ran it pretty hard. At first I was kind of easy on it, but then I kind of wanted to get into it and see what this Powerstroke could do, and I've realized it has a lot of power. Pretty much probably why it's in the name. Now, I'm a long-time Cummins guy. My dad has had a bunch of Cummins trucks my entire life. I've even had 4 myself, and they all haven't really been that good to me. The only one that really was good was the last one, which was the 5G, and I bought it brand new, and it obviously lasted because I took care of it. Driving by right there. But basically, first time Powerstroke growing here after lots of Cummins. And this is actually the first one I've ever driven. I had never driven a Powerstroke before that. I've driven a bunch of Cummins trucks. And you really can't, it's a night and day difference. This thing is way snappier, pretty much day-to-day driving. Now, would I still pick a Cummins for towing purposes? Probably, honestly, just because the engines are very easy to find. If you do break apart, very easy to find parts for them. Powerstrokes are a little different. This engine's a little newer. Now I'm going to tell you some pros as to why you should buy one of these in 2025. Now, number one is great power. Even for a 10-year-old truck with a tune on it, these things can push 500-600 horsepower. Even just changing some simple stuff like getting a stage 2 KC Whistler and like some injectors and a bigger XRG pump, you can push 720 horsepower easily. But in its stock form, just to tune and delete, it's a very fast truck, very powerful, and it'll keep up with anything you can pretty much put up against it in 2025. Now, reason number 2 as to why you should pick up a Powerstroke in 2025 is because all these steel bodies already depreciated. You could actually pick up one of these anywhere from 20 to 30K depending on the model and mileage. This is a platinum with 200,000 miles, and it's a 2015, and I actually got this for 20K. Third thing on my list is the body style. Interior and exterior, this truck is still solid looking even when it's 10 years old. Some of the older trucks are still obviously good looking, like 6.0s and stuff like that, but they got outdated very easily. This truck still looks good in 2025, which is another solid point as to why I got it. Okay, so now we're gonna go over some possible cons that you can actually have with this truck, because every manufacturer has its downsides and no vehicle is perfect. So we're gonna have to take a look at what those things are. So the biggest thing you're actually gonna have a problem with on this truck is gonna be your CP4 pump. Now, you can get your CP4 pump swapped out for a DCR conversion or an XRG pump. I personally prefer the XRG pump, and that's the one that I want to do because it is a drop-in replacement and you don't change your fuel lines. With the DCR pump, you actually change your fuel lines. So if you were to break down for whatever reason, you shouldn't have to with either of those pumps, but if you were to break down for whatever reason, you could actually get new lines from the store with the XRG pump rather than you'd have to special order the DCR pump lines. So the second thing that you're gonna have to really worry about on these 6.7 Powerstrokes is gonna be oil leaks. Pretty much the upper oil pan and the lower pan gasket tend to get messed up because the CCV will build up too much pressure if you don't stay on top of your maintenance. Personally, I'm actually just gonna delete the CCV and do the reroute. I don't care how it smells or anything. I like diesels. I mean, I work on diesel trucks every day, and I like to smell diesel, so it really doesn't bother me. Surprisingly, this truck doesn't even leak that much oil. I do have like a tiny bit coming out of the upper oil pan on the right side of, or at least on the passenger side, but it's nothing really major, so I don't even care. Other than that, I don't have any other leaks on this truck, which is pretty good for having 200,000 miles. This truck did have a lot of service records, so it was maintained. That's why I did purchase it also. Now, this third con is actually only specific to the 11 to 14s, and it's the turbo. You're actually going to want to change the turbo on the 11 to 14s because they have a separate design where they pretty much use like 2 compressors, kind of similar to a 6.4, and all that moving parts is just not good, and over time that turbo ends up breaking and you're going to want to swap it out. I suggest the KC Whistler. Like I said, I personally like it for sounds, and it does push a lot of horsepower, even stage 1 and 2. So those are pretty much my pros and cons for the time that I've driven this truck and the research that I've done. Now, I want to take you guys on a little walk around of what this truck actually came with and what I got for 20K. So this truck actually came with this ranch hand, which actually came with some goodies. I got a light bar in the middle, and then I'd have these LEDs that are actually in the center of it, which are pretty cool. They do turn on with the marker lights. 5% tint all around, and on the windshield, I assume what we have is 20. It is very dark. You pretty much cannot see inside it, and it kind of sucks driving at night. I might take the tint off, but I do like how it looks. Now this one is actually pretty cool. We do have a 17 back glass off of Super Duty. I think this is for 15 to 16 or 11 to 16, but it's just a 17 style, not an actual 17 back glass. And we also did get this rear bumper back here with LED pods in it. 4 pods in total, which is actually pretty cool. So those are 2 things I didn't have to buy, the front and rear bumpers. And like I said, this truck was tuned and deleted when I bought it, so I also didn't have to do that. So we're gonna be ending this video. I'm kind of gonna just give you a recap on how I feel about it. For 20K, you can get a solid vehicle with power folding mirrors, leather seats, seat memory, heated steering wheel, pretty much the whole 9, and own a badass diesel truck. Now, as long as you do your maintenance, like your fuel filters and your oil filters, you'll be okay. She'll last a long time. And just think about that CP4 pump. You could add a disaster kit on it, but I'm just gonna change out the pump entirely. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you do want 15% off Speed Lab purchases, remember to use code MONEY15. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.